Welcome to Midnight Menu Plus One. I'm Ray Canada.
And I'm Margot Moss.
We're here at Ted's Frost Top on Claiborne and Calhoun in Uptown New Orleans. Once a week, Margot and I meet here at Ted's, and we invite a member of New Orleans restaurant and food community to join us. And we invite them to bring along a friend, a plus one. We never know who that's going to be, and we'll find out the mystery in a moment. But we do know who our regular guest is. Our special guest today is Leora Madden of Pearl Wine Company. And I know you know this, Margot. This is unlike any other wine shop I've ever heard of, and maybe you have too. So I can't wait to talk to her about this. It really sounds like a really special place. But before she gets here, did you have any great food experiences?
Well, I had a food experience that I thought was great, but it might be sacrilegious to. We've never talked about a chain on this show.
All right. Well, I already disagree with you then.
Okay.
But go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Well, I was in a rush tonight, and my husband picked up from Payway on Carrollton, the new Payway.
What is
that? You've never heard of it?
Never
so
heard
you
of
can't bash it.
I can't bash it, but if it's a chain, I hate it.
It's the fast food version of P.F. Chang's.
Interesting. Okay.
And it was actually very good, and it was on the fly, and it was quick and delicious. I had the Korean barbecue beef in lettuce wraps.
Okay.
So I just wanted to tell you.
I don't doubt that it was good. It's just that you've destroyed our culture now by doing that. You got to make a donation. By
supporting?
Yeah, you got to go make a donation to their competitor, whatever local thing is near there.
We don't have any. Well.
You got to have a Chinese
fast
restaurant
food,
near there.
Chinese food. I do have one. I like over there.
I love that one that you took me to. Yeah. With the donuts and
what's that called? Red Dragon.
Yes, that
Claiborne?
place is great.
It was very good. Okay.
Oh, we made up for it.
What about
somebody
you?
Else. I ate lots and lots and lots of food, and so I don't know where to begin. But I guess my last one was I ate at the new pie and noodle place. Yeah.
It's already open?
Yeah, it's open. I went the second night. I didn't go the first night, and but I wanted to wait a week. I tried to wait a week, but I couldn't. It was just too much. It was so wonderful, and I'm glad I went. And
what did you have?
I had I had a lot of things, but I had the Matador was the thing that was most noteworthy. I thought. It was like a pho that was like in a ramen instead of like those rice noodles or whatever, and it was rare beef, and it was just so tasty and really interesting. Everything was interesting. You know, it's Dante's Kitchen. It's the same people.
Iman.
It's Iman, right? Exactly.
What is his last name?
Oh, I forget. His mother is my next door neighbor.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to have him on the show.
Yes. Oh, we gotta have him on the show. Yeah. I wanted to ask him last night, but he looked very busy.
Did you have a pie?
I had a little pie too.
Let's get to our
very
guest,
good. Yeah.
What pie?
It was like a chocolate kind of pie. It was great. Okay. Yeah. And I had the Nola pie guy this week too, and I had the food drunk truck. And Food drunk, which is amazing. All the dishes are inspired by alcoholic drinks. Yeah, it was great. And then I also went to the new McClure's barbecue, which I thought was very good too. Yeah, went to lots of new places.
All right. Well,
but it's not about that. It's our guest.
Yes. Yeah. Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you, Leora, for coming to join us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I have a lot of questions for you, but the first one is, why and when did you get into the wine business?
Okay.
Here?
I got into the wine business on March 12th when I bought the former Cork and Bottle. And the why is kind of interesting. At the age of 14, I went to my first winery. My mom and dad took me. It was a winery in Sonoma, and I remember being really mesmerized by the barrels and the smells and the whole process. And don't tell anybody, but they let me taste wine. Just a little, one sip. And so my mom always encouraged me to learn about wine. And at the age of 21, I went to Italy for the first time. And I was in the Tuscan region and really got into Italian wines for a while. But that same year, I moved to California and spent a good 7 years out there. And when I came back to New Orleans in 2007, I was really disappointed with our wine selection. So I would go back to California every year to buy wine. And I know that That's
personally,
so.
just
yes,
personally for
personally for my personal
Like how much
collection.
wine?
A lot.
like how much? Like boxes and boxes of wine?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Really?
Yeah. Boxes.
Like, give me a ballpark figure, you think. So you're flying back once a year for the specific purpose of getting wine,
Yes.
and how many
you
bottles
would
do you
go
bring
to
back?
wineries and taste the
Yes,
wine.
I would go to wineries. I would visit wineries, and I would taste the wine, and I would have it shipped back here to New Orleans. And sometimes I could, some wineries can't ship to certain states.
Right.
So I would have wine shipped to Chicago and then have someone fly it down here on a plane.
That's
That's
hardcore.
passion.
Yeah.
That is hardcore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're talking like 100 bottles of wine you do this way? I mean, how many bottles of wine are you buying every year in California?
It's hard to say. I mean, now I'm buying hundreds
Oh,
every
yeah.
week. But when it was just my personal collection, I was probably buying at least like 12 bottles in a case. So I was probably buying 30 cases.
Golly!
Yeah.
That's like 6 bottles a week you're drinking if that has to last you a year.
Well,
and that's not counting what you're buying locally.
Right. But
A
I
bottle a
didn't-
day. You have a drinking problem, don't you?
No, I definitely
You need
don't.
to talk about it?
No, I definitely don't. I mean, I do now that I own a store. I mean, I'm just kidding. But a lot of that stuff I still have in my personal collection, because there's a lot of things you want to hang on to and
Save for special occasions.
Yeah,
or,
save for special occasions. Save because it's not distributed in the state, so you want to save it, for the day that you think, oh, I want this wine, and you go ahead and drink it. So, so in 2009, I went to Chicago Wine School for fun. And within 2 weeks, I knew that I wanted to make a career change.
What were you doing previously to that?
I
for
was
a
in
career?
higher education publishing.
Higher education publishing, like textbooks?
Textbooks, yeah.
The college textbooks?
Yes. So I was calling on, professors and helping students and bookstores with textbooks.
Oh, so you're on the road, though, to do that, aren't
Yeah.
you? Oh, that's great. So you can pick
Yeah.
up wines as you go, too,
yeah.
huh?
Yeah, definitely. And I did, when I had time.
Yeah.
But since 2009, I've been looking for a place to do wine, and I finally found it earlier this year, obviously. So
Well, tell everyone where you're located.
okay. It's Pearl Wine Company at 3700 Orleans Avenue, which is that huge American Can building.
Yeah.
Which is an apartment complex right now, and 8 commercial spaces on the bottom. So I occupy 2 of the spaces. We're right next to PJ's, and it's Pearl Wine Bar and Pearl Wine Company. And so we're the only place in the city, and one of the only places in the entire country, that has a full wine store. We also sell beer and liquor, but then we have a full bar, a full cocktail bar. We serve wines by the glass, specialty cocktails, craft cocktails. I have a mixologist and sommelier on staff who runs the bar, and she also does food on Thursdays. And we have a lot of craft beer as well, that limited release, things that you can't find everywhere. So it's quite an outfit. It's almost 4,000 square feet, so it's rather large.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's like
Big.
2 double shotgun houses. That's a lot.
Yeah.
4,000 square feet.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Now, I went
You did?
about a week and a half ago,
Oh.
and I've gone twice. I went to buy a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Margot also has a
some
drinking
port.
problem like you. Yeah.
I
yeah.
actually,
Just
I
kidding.
do. Yeah.
It's okay,
I'm
Margot.
not
You're
very
in good
knowledgeable
company.
about wine, so
Denial
I
is
really,
one of the first symptoms.
Well, I went in because I wanted to buy a gift, and it was not you who helped me, but I have to say, the woman was lovely, because I don't know anything about wines, and I wanted a port, because I thought that was a little unusual as a welcome to New Orleans gift, and so she was great, and really
Really helpful.
made the experience very easy and pleasant.
Good.
Because sometimes you go into a wine store, and if you don't know anything, you feel intimidated, like they're gonna I'm wasting their time or,
Yep.
And
I definitely, that's exactly what I don't want. These are the shirts that we typically wear. It's V-neck black t-shirt. I want wine to be approachable, and I want it to be comfortable. I think that generally speaking and historically speaking, New Orleans has focused greatly on French wine. And it's intimidating people. They don't know how to read the labels. Even Italian wines are hard to read because everything is labeled by appellation rather than grape, which is what we're used to in the U.S. And so there's kind of been a divide, but I'm really, well, let me back up. Since I got back home in 2007, I've really seen a shift, and more people are getting into California wines. And so I think that California is a fantastic bridge for people who are intimidated to be able to, buy bottles or labels that they understand. But it's also a common misconception that you can't get a good California wine for the price that you can get a good European wine, and that's just not true. And so I'm setting out to break down those barriers and show people that it's not, it doesn't have to be intimidating, and you can still buy a good $12 bottle of wine from California and it not be offensive.
Okay. Now, if I came to you and said, I don't know the first thing about wine, but I would like to buy a bottle to start a collection or to experience a good solid wine, like have a good pleasant experience.
Yeah.
What would you ask me, or what would you say to me to help me, besides about the California wine being easy to read, accessible, or like, what would that look like?
So we do have people come in all the time who they'll say, I don't know anything about wine, I just want to try it, or I just want to buy a bottle, I've only had it once before at somebody's house. What I would do is I would say, okay, well, what do you typically like to drink? Are there other alcohols that you like to drink? Do you drink beer? Do you drink liquor? What kind of food do you typically eat? And that's going to tell me a lot about their palate and really what they would like. And so I'll take them through the shelves and really talk them through it, and teach them as we walk through the shelves and kind of get a gauge of what it is that they really want and what it is that they're really gonna like. And I mean, it's been since March, but I haven't had anyone. My policy is if you don't like it, bring it back and we'll swap it out for something else. I mean, no questions asked.
How many people take you up on that?
Just a few, actually. I mean, most people are like, oh, I'll drink it anyway, don't worry, but it's actually, maybe one bottle a month, maybe, but very rarely.
Anybody ever do it with a really expensive bottle?
No, definitely not.
That seems like that would be really obnoxious.
Well, yeah, but I wouldn't turn them down.
Right.
I definitely wouldn't turn them down. I mean, I think it's important, in terms of my philosophy, that if I don't want it to be intimidating. I don't want people to feel like they're taking a risk by buying a bottle of wine. So many times in the store, if I have the time, I'm going to taste you on something, to figure out your palate. And so going back to if it was someone who didn't know anything about wine, I would start tasting them on things. Like if they like sweet stuff, if they like spicy stuff, I would start grabbing things from our bar and doing a little pour for them to taste. Okay. And I do it every day, but I mean, that's really how you get to it. And we do our free tastings every Thursday and Friday, but sometimes that's even intimidating to people. So they'd rather be one-on-one, and just, not being embarrassed. Because some people are even intimidated by the free tastings. So we encourage them not to be.
So you do some fun things that aren't just tastings. Can you share with us some of the special events you do?
Absolutely.
At Pearl?
So I'll give you our weekly schedule. Our weekly schedule is on Mondays from 5 to 9 p.m. We have Manis and Martinis. And what that is you get a manicure in the store with a drink from the bar for $20. So we have,
That's wonderful.
Now, do men
Yes.
get manicures too?
Yes.
Wow.
We do have men that come
Huh.
in.
Okay, now
Can
did
you
you
handle
get?
that, Ray? Would you be able to?
I've
do
never had a manicure. One time I went for a pedicure with my wife, and I chickened out when I got there. I was just like, "This is too weird. I can't."
that? A manicure
I
and a
can't-
martini.
Yeah,
Is
now-
that what it-
It can be a martini. It can be a glass of wine. It can be a
For
specialty
$20.
cocktail. Yep. It can be
That's
any drink you want.
unbelievable.
It can be a beer.
Now, where'd you get that idea? Are you the first one to ever do that, or did you copy from somebody?
I know that there's other. So after I came up with the idea, I did look it up, and there are other people around the country who are doing it, but there's no one else in New Orleans doing it.
Never heard of it. That
No.
sounds great.
Yeah, no one else in New
Okay,
Orleans.
so that's what you're missing tonight to join us.
Yes.
It's Monday night.
Yes.
So what time does that go till? In case.
till 9 p.m.
Okay.
Till 9 p.m.
And so what's the rest of your week?
Okay, so Tuesdays, we have right now. Tuesdays are our seasonal night, and so right now we have an ice cream social. Previously, we were doing free crawfish boils, but with the ice cream social, it's Mary Dixie, our mixologist and sommelier, is at the bar, and she serves up some ice cream with rum caramel sauce and cherry bombs. So it's a nice little dessert or aperitif, or if you want to just use all the calories on ice cream and a glass of wine, you can do that too. So
Nice.
we do
Fun.
that all night on Tuesdays. Wednesdays is 10 wines by the glass for $5. And
What?
Yeah, and these aren't
What?
bad. This isn't bad wine. This is Leora wine,
No, not
which
a
is
total
always
five.
good.
Not a total $5. $5 each.
Yes, a glass of
For a
wine.
second, I thought you were talking about 50-cent wines. I was
Oh,
going to go,
no,
wow, that
no,
sounds
no,
impossible.
No,
Okay,
no. So it's 10 wines by the
Still a good
glass
deal.
for $5.
it's great.
And starting in September, we're going to do a food pop-up on Wednesdays. Again, we were doing it in the spring, and then they wanted to take a break for the summer. Thursdays is the farmer's market out in front of the American Can from 3 to 7. Then we also have a free tasting from 5 to 7 p.m. And a lot of times we have winemakers. I try to get at least winemakers into the store 2 times a month. So far I've been successful. August may be a little slim. We had one last week, and I don't think we'll have another one again until September. But a lot of times we bring Napa, we bring Sonoma, we bring Oregon, we bring Austria, we bring France to you. And to New Orleans, and so you get to taste with these winemakers, and they tell you about the wines.
Now
and
these
you're one-on-one
winemakers are
with
already
them.
coming through because they're and you coordinate with them.
Typically-
You're not flying them in just to this
Yeah,
event.
no. Typically, they're already in town,
Right.
making the rounds at all the various restaurants. So we have them come in and we do a free tasting. And that's on Thursdays. And we also have a gourmet grilled cheese bar on Thursdays as well. And that's from Mary Dixie, our sommelier and mixologist. And so it's a great, it's a fun
There's
night. It's a
something
busy
for
night.
Everybody
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
in the week.
Absolutely. So Friday we have another free tasting from 5 to 7, and then on Friday nights we also have Rolls and Bowls, the new Vietnamese restaurant on Metairie Road. They come and do a pop-up with us, and it's a lot of fun. Then we have live jazz at 8 o'clock.
Huh.
So you can make a night
You
out
have
of
same
it.
band every
And
week?
what
or you have
hour-
different?
what are
No,
the
we have
hours
different
on the-
people all the time.
What are your hours when you do on the weekend?
Oh, so on the weekend, Monday through Saturday, we're open 12 p.m. to midnight, and that includes the store.
Monday through Saturday?
Yes.
So we can go after this.
Yes.
We can't get manicures, but we could go. And I have to tell you,
Yeah.
I don't drink very often, but I did have a.
Sure, you don't.
I had a wonderful drink, Aviator.
Oh yeah.
Aviator. And it was delicious.
Swirl?
It was like swirl, pearl.
Pearl.
Aha. We're gonna swirl your head in the toilet.
Yeah, you're going to get swirly for saying that. It was on the calendar at one point as swirl. That was the problem.
I have no
Okay.
idea.
Okay. Sorry.
So on Saturdays we have Chef Rob, who you guys might know from NOLA Smokehouse. Yes, and he is launching his mac and cheese bar on Saturday at Pearl.
So cool.
Yeah, so it's going to be a make your, build your own. So you start with the base of the mac and cheese, and then you add your toppings.
Can you bring kids in because you
Yes.
serve food? Really?
Yes, kids can be in the store with their
Right.
legal guardian.
Okay,
Yes.
so I could get him well, what time does the mac and cheese bar start?
It
on
starts
Saturday?
at 7.
Okay.
And then the live music starts in the bar at 8. So it'll be live jazz at 8 p.m.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I could interrogate you on and on, but we need to get to your mystery
Plus
Yes.
one, yep.
My mystery guest.
Who have you brought with you tonight?
I have brought Joel Duran.
Joel Duran.
The
Welcome,
own-
Joel.
Great to be here.
He is the owner of Sunbelt Business Brokers.
Say it again, I didn't hear you.
Sunbelt Business Brokers.
Okay.
And he actually, his company, he was my broker when I bought Cork and Bottle, and his company had the listing with Sunbelt. So he also has been a very supportive life partner to me in my business endeavors. So I wanted to bring him on to show my appreciation and my gratitude to him.
All
Very
right.
nice.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Now, wait, explain to me what the company is that you...
So
Sunbelt.
the name
Sunbelt.
of my company is Sunbelt Business Brokers of New Orleans, and we actually put buyers of businesses together with the sellers of businesses. So if you think about what a real estate agent does for a house and the fact that they get a house listed and then find buyers for the house, we do the exact same thing, just with active working businesses. And the average size of that business is going to be somewhere between 0 and $25 million.
Interesting. And how long have you been with that business in New Orleans?
Well, our office has been in the New Orleans area since 1983.
Okay.
We are the oldest business brokerage currently in New Orleans. We're also the largest by employees. I will say this, that our brokerage is a part of a humongous network. Sunbelt is the largest business brokerage franchise in the entire country with over 250 offices worldwide, everywhere from Canada to Russia. Our network here is fantastic. In addition to our office, when you come to see us about a business or when you list your business with us, we have brokers in a Mandeville office, Home office, Baton Rouge, Lafayette. The biggest thing that we can do for somebody who maybe has thought about selling their business is just give them no cost consultation and just talk to them and just kind of go over their options with them. And if they do decide to come on with us, the thing that really separates us from any competition that we may have either here locally or out of state is that in addition to the brokers in our offices, they also have that network. We advertise on more websites than anyone else in the area. Additionally speaking, we're the only brokerage that I've ever even heard of that uses industry metrics to actually package your listing for sale. That's typically reserved for M&A companies, but we do that at no extra charge. And we really want to be a long-term partner with businesses in the New Orleans area.
How long have you been with them?
I've personally been with them for going on 3 years.
Okay.
I actually cut my teeth with my first business. I wrote the business plan for it in college. In 3 years, I had the sales at $2.5 million a year, which was not an easy thing, and it was certainly a great learning experience. But my passion for business is really what led me to this career. It's been really, really rewarding. I get to see the insides of all these different companies and form relationships with all these great business owners in New Orleans, and be a part of something. So.
And how did y'all meet? And how long have y'all known each other, and how did you meet?
We've known each other since 2008. At the time, we were both dating other people, but we met through my sister, who went to college. She and Joel went to college together. They were good friends in college. So, but I started working with Joel on looking for a business over 2 years ago.
Y'all, and so were y'all seeing each other then?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of, and then it took a couple months for me to come around to dating him, but I finally gave in.
we were both playing hard to get, and that can make things a little slower than.
But yeah, so it was over 2 years ago, but yeah, it was a long ride trying to find a business, but a short ride to deciding that I wanted to keep him around. So
Oh, that's sweet.
yeah,
It's really nice.
so
Well, we're not going to pull out any dirt. I
We're
could
not?
go
Why
there.
not?
No. 'Cause, well, I would like to.
After last week, we got to keep it clean.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
I heard about last week.
Now, y'all, you have brought some wine
Mhm.
tonight. Can you share with us what you brought?
it's Domaine Jonas, which is a very popular, well known, we'll say, not popular, but we'll say well known vineyard and winemaker in France. And the guy who imports this wine is one of my absolute favorites, and I had the wonderful opportunity of meeting him in June and having dinner with him. Eric Solomon. He imports everything into the country that is just fantastic as far as quality and the vineyards and the winemakers that he selects. A lot of times he will get in on the project and get in on the winemaking, and he's known for just really having a great portfolio. And this is one of our more popular rosés, one of our best-selling rosés right now. And I mean, I think you can taste it. It's outstanding. It's great.
It smells different
Mhm.
than it looks.
Yes. Yes.
It's it's nice.
Did you expect it to be sweet?
Well, looking at it, I did expect it to be sweet,
Yes.
and then I smelled it,
Yes.
and it smells kind of yeasty, like beer or something to
Yes.
me.
Yes.
Mm.
So
But it tastes. It's nice.
yeah, it tastes more like a dry white.
It's dry. Yeah.
Yeah. So the common misconception about rosés is that they're sweet, or they taste awkward, and that's just not the case. We have a huge rosé selection in the store, and I think it's really catching on in the city. And it's one of those fun things that it's refreshing, it's great for the summer, but it's also fun to talk about because people think it's going to be sweet because of White Zin, because of what White Zin did to the market. And so they're not sweet at all. Rosés are, unless it says otherwise, they're all going to be dry. So
Very nice.
yeah,
Now
glad
I
you
don't
like
know
it.
the language, like the,
That's okay.
it tastes very grapey, or I don't know.
That's
that's
okay,
an
Margot.
amusing
You don't
little
have
wine.
you don't have to know the lingo.
But how is that something too that develops with people's palate? I mean, like
Yeah.
you hear words like
Mhm.
people say things like, I don't know, chocolatey or
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what the
Right. So
Tobacco.
tobacco.
so a lot of times, and one of the things that that you learn in wine school, or if you go to school to become a sommelier, is you learn kind of the words that help you describe. And so the best way to figure that out is, again, through tasting, and say, okay, well, what do you smell? What do you taste? Think outside the box. Don't think just about grape. Don't think just about alcohol, right? He'll tell me that all the time. I'll say, what do you taste? Alcohol. What do you smell? Alcohol.
Joel, did you know about wine, or you're more business, or did you have an appreciation for wine
Well,
before
I
y'all
can understand
worked together?
how you would think that I was a connoisseur, obviously, with that kind of verbiage, but no, I mean, if she can teach someone like me about wine, then I think that's a testament to how passionate she is about it, and how she can transfer that passion and make it easy to understand, because I'm an absolute novice, and I have to I've always felt like I had to be beaten over the head with a flavor or something to describe it, but
yeah, when we started dating, he told me that his favorite wine was Yellowtail Merlot, and I about fell out of my chair.
she's
He
calling
was
me
trying
out
to
here
scare
on
you
the
off.
air.
That's what that was. He was testing you to see.
Yeah, I
It's
about
more
fell out
plain
of my
hard to
chair.
get.
But yeah,
Is that anyone's favorite, really?
apparently it was at one time. He still teases me about it occasionally, and will tell me, "Oh yeah, I picked up some Merlot or some Yellowtail Merlot for you."
So is it okay if he gets drunk off wine? Is that
Yes.
Aren't you supposed to spit when you
No,
are
you don't have,
tasting wine?
no. I mean, only if you want to. Honestly, only if you want to. There is nothing that says that you have to spit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much alcohol is in, like, let's say a glass of this, just as compared to somebody having a drink?
So typically wine, it depends on how it's made. This one in particular is 13.5, which
that a
is
lot?
pretty standard.
Standard?
Honestly,
Okay.
yeah. Anywhere from 12 to 15 is pretty standard. So, it's going to get you there a little faster than some other things, but not as fast as others.
Well, now you probably. I bet you a lot of your regulars live in the building too, right?
A lot of our regulars do.
It would be great to be in a building where you could just go downstairs and
Yes.
have a bar like this. That's fantastic.
Yes.
But you also get people, I'm sure, that are traveling to come get their manicure or whatever. You know, to
Yeah.
come for the tasting.
We get
so,
people from all over.
I always wonder. I always ask bartenders this when I get to know them too. Like, what you have a policy about people, drinking and driving and like.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what do you do when you see
Absolutely.
someone? Yeah, I mean, what's the rule of thumb? I mean, what do you tell your staff? Like when somebody's like
Absolutely.
staggering out the door.
Yeah, we
What do you
call them
do?
a cab.
Right.
We take their keys away from them and call them a cab. I
Okay.
mean, they're, everyone.
If they're belligerent like Margot and they won't give you their keys, then what do you? What's next?
Well, we do have people on hand to assist us with that.
Right.
We do have security, but for any bar owner, I mean, that is something that you really have to be careful with because you don't want things like that to happen.
Do you have any customers that just show up like 3-4 nights a week and just get plastered every time?
No, honestly, no. I mean, we do have people who come in 3 or 4 nights a
Because
week.
there's a few bars I go to where I walk in and I see the same guy there every time I go. I go randomly,
Yeah.
and he's always drunk.
Yeah.
I think he must come here every night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just not that kind of place.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I mean,
The American Can is primarily
Right.
professionals,
Young
aged
professionals,
25
yeah.
to 45.
Right.
And so you're just not going to see people getting rip-roaring drunk there.
Yeah.
and I sat at the bar and had a drink, and you even feel like I loved my drink, but it was very satisfying, and I didn't feel like it's not the kind of atmosphere where you're like, yeah, let's do shots.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
even it was,
not at all.
It had gin in it, but I was very happy with my one drink. It felt like eating. You know, it had a lot of flavors, and it was a good experience, and I
Yeah.
enjoyed myself. And so I would imagine that people coming in drinking wine and craft beer and high-end mixologist drinks, it's an experience, and it's not
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
going to a bar.
Yeah, and I mean, we do fresh squeezed fruits. I mean, everything is fresh. We don't even our ginger. Okay, we put ginger in some of our specialty cocktails, and we even put the ginger through the juicer. So it is an experience. You're absolutely right, and that's exactly what I wanted it to be.
Well, that's interesting. Because in wine school, you didn't learn about all the other mixology stuff, right? Or
I
did you?
not.
So
I
how did
did
you learn
not.
all this stuff?
I went the wine master track. I didn't go sommelier
Right. So how'd you learn
track.
this other stuff?
So I hired very good people
Oh, good. Okay.
to help me. But I also, when I found Cork and Bottle and Clever Wine Bar, and I knew that I was going to buy it, I started doing all the research and teaching myself everything that I could about cocktails and mixology.
So is that mostly on books, or was that like
Yeah.
YouTube, or is that like talking to bartenders, or like all the above?
All
or?
of the above.
okay.
I have a couple of good friends who own bars in the city, and they have been an incredible resource for me as well.
Right.
But
And do you? I'm sorry.
No,
do
it's
you,
okay.
Do you taste every drink
I do.
that is mixed
Yes.
and served?
I do. Mary Dixie,
You're a lot of fun, aren't you?
I am. Mary Dixie, my mixologist and sommelier, she lets me taste every single drink, and all the specialty cocktails that we have, like the Pearl and the Black Pearl. I did assist her, with making those. Of course, one is a champagne cocktail, because if I had to have a champagne cocktail named Pearl. But yeah, she's been a huge help. I really have to give her all the creative credit for the specialty cocktails. She's amazing.
So what's the wine bar in New Orleans that most resembles yours? It sounds like yours is kind of unique in a lot of ways. What would it be most like?
There's not really. There's no other place in the city where you can go and have access to 600 bottles of wine.
Right.
There's not a bar that you can just sit down, order a craft cocktail, or ask someone, a professional, for a recommendation, and then choose from that kind of wine cellar, and then just open it right then and there and drink it for a small corkage fee.
Right.
I hate to bring this down.
Yeah.
But we have to get to
I was going to try to make him give an answer, though.
Give it, okay.
Yeah,
I
what were you
was
gonna say?
thinking.
You had something on the tip of your tongue.
I
know there's nothing like you, but what
it's
would
really
be the closest?
a combination, honestly.
Okay.
If you could take wino and mix it with
That's downtown.
Cure, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Or like Bolney Tavern, I was thinking, or something like that, maybe. I don't
because
know.
wino is the only other place where it's open late. You can pour yourself a glass, right? And they have all those selections, but so we have all that, but we have over 600. You can taste anything in the store. That's the incredible thing is that you have over 600 wines that you can taste. Okay,
but your most expensive bottle of wine, if somebody comes in and goes, I want to taste it first or whatever.
Absolutely.
Do people do that?
Absolutely.
It's crazy because once you open it.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Well, but you know what? The beauty of my space is that once you open it, I can sell it by the glass at the bar.
Right, okay. Cool.
Or I'll drink it myself.
All right,
she's got the book of
talk about
question.
drinking by yourself. Please pick a number between 1 and 120.
You change the number every time.
I can't remember what the last number is.
217. What is it, Grant? 217.
How about 119?
119.
Okay.
I don't think anyone's ever picked the
I
same
feel
number
like
twice.
if I change the number too, that they won't ask the same numbers. We've
That's
had
a
a few.
Point, yeah.
Okay. If this country were to suffer an unprovoked nuclear attack and would be totally obliterated in a matter of minutes,
this is a Reagan era book.
Would you favor unleashing the U.S. nuclear arsenal upon the attackers?
Well, how would we do that if we were obliterated already?
Wait, let me see that.
And I usually say in bed if it's a lame question, but I don't know how you would do that.
No. I think it means like the missiles are coming, the radar shows it, you're president for some reason. Yeah.
Well, isn't that what the missile defense shield is for? So you can
they
intercept them in the air.
When they when this book was written.
So would you let them have it?
I have a political science background. I have too much knowledge.
No, that's great. We need smart people on this show to
balance
in our
out
place.
I would say release the missile defense shield. Yeah, intercept it.
Very PC. Very PC.
Well, I'm just, I'm thinking
and then
through it
toast
logically.
And then have a glass of wine.
Absolutely.
Open your best bottle of wine.
Absolutely.
Have some wine and talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's solve this problem that nearly annihilated our planet.
I can tell you though, if somebody told me that the world was about to end, I would go down and open a nice bottle of wine.
That's a good question. That should be the book of questions.
Yeah.
I think it probably is one.
How much would the wine
You were in
cost?
higher ed before the wine thing, right?
Yes.
So was it political science specifically, or was it other stuff?
No, it was all disciplines.
Yeah.
My first, so 1 year, for a year before I got into higher ed, I was in children's publishing with Scholastic. And then I got into science, math, economics. And then after that, I was in nursing. And then finally in business and computing. So
wow, you married up, or I mean, you're dating up, or whatever.
Oh.
Sorry.
Wow, that's tough. You don't even know my background.
I'm
Just assuming by looking at you, that's
I'm
rough.
Teasing.
He's actually got a PhD from Harvard. You just didn't, you don't know it.
the Harvard of Lakeview.
You have life experience that is as valuable as higher education, right?
Yes.
And so what is your background besides starting a business in
Well, business is really my background. Business, sales. I graduated from UNO. I really discovered my love for business in the fraternity that I was in there, and those guys really were great mentors, and all of our alumni were businessmen in the city, and I just remember going to these lunches with them, as a young guy, and VPs downtown at these big companies, and they're talking about things that they want to do outside of their normal employment, and that really struck a chord in me, and it really resonated. My parents were both business owners, and
What'd they do?
Well, just I take that back. Not my parents. I want to say that my family, I come from business owners. My grandfather owned a print shop when I was very, very little. Some of my fondest memories are, playing in these massive paper bins as a very small child, and going with him to his job and his shop, and just kind of seeing what he did. And he when he passed away, he left my grandmother in a very good position, and that struck a chord with me as well. If you really want to get ahead in this world, business ownership is really the only true security. Sales jobs that I've had in the past, I remember having conversations with the owners when I quit to just about how at any given time, there's nothing that you can do as an employee to truly secure your job. If your boss decides you have to go, or the owner of that company decides you have to go, then you have to go. And about 80% of our clientele is professionals who've been downsized, outsourced, or what have you, and they're
now
looking
going in business
to
for themselves,
secure their financial freedom with the business.
Did that inspire you with Leora to when I know obviously you said y'all met each other before, but when you were working with her, did that give you admiration for what she was deciding to do and
Well,
spark
I have to tell you, I deal with during the course of any year, I've probably met and had conversations with at least 300 business owners. It is just something I do on a daily basis. It's just a part of my job, and overseeing a brokerage, I interact with more business owners than anyone else in the office, simply because I'm overseeing a multitude of deals at any given time. And Leora really is amazing as a business owner. She's turned this business around in a very short time and created a lot of buzz and done a lot of positive things. It really is inspirational, and I think that we met at my friend Ricky's restaurant at Rolls and Bowls and in Old Metairie, and that's being a part of these types of businesses. Rolls and Bowls, Pearl Wine Company, Toops Meadery, they bought that space from us.
Oh, wow.
Wonderful.
I work
We
with
had
Mark
that.
Love them,
Clark,
yeah, they're the
owner of
best,
Fellini's and Nona Mia.
Oh, yeah.
And being able to interact with these people is really inspirational. It just reminds me of why I got into business in the first place.
Right.
These people are out there, and they're doing it every single day, and they're just enjoying it, and they're passionate about what they do, and it's amazing. So I feel
Great.
very lucky.
We can ask
Wonderful.
Joel his question.
Yes. What's your number?
111.
111. Okay. We had this question before.
Oh yeah, ask another one.
Yeah, pick another number.
Let's see.
Unless that's like
We'll do
the
some-
absolute best number.
A
but I
nice
don't think
a
you're
nice
gonna
round
like
number, 150.
150.
All right.
Oh, we're setting a precedent though but we didn't let him know what the question
Yeah,
is.
no,
so
that's okay.
you ask it.
All right, you want me to?
Yeah.
Would you be willing to give up all television for the next 5 years? Since before the internet, like television was everything to everyone. For the next 5 years, if it would induce someone to provide for 1,000 starving children in Indonesia?
I feel like that's an easy call to make, because other than Game of Thrones, I really don't watch
any
very
TV?
much television.
I know. I threw a freak out session and started screaming at my TV
I do
this
it for
week. Yeah.
I do it for 10 kids.
All right,
you know?
for 10 kids.
10 kids. Internet.
You
might
hear that,
be,
listeners?
Might be
Anybody
a harder choice.
Anybody willing to sponsor this? You can have his TV for 5 years. He will give it to you if you will pay for 10 starving children in Indonesia. So, Leora,
Yes.
you've been open since March?
Yes.
That's amazing. Okay, so it's just been a few months.
It's just
and
been a few months.
So it's probably early to ask this, but why not? You got dreams already. What's next? I
Absolutely.
mean,
Yeah.
do you want to open other ones? You want to
I do.
expand the offerings? I mean, it
I
sounds like
do.
you're already doing a lot.
Yes,
in
I
this
want
one
to
site.
expand the offerings. There's a couple of things that I want to do. First, I want to keep growing what we have. You know, we already do private parties on site. I want to start doing more private parties off site. We do deliver already. We do free delivery.
What?
Yes.
Free delivery?
Yes, free delivery.
There's a minimum on the order, right?
No.
There has to be. Really?
No minimum.
If I want to call you up and
Wow.
ask for a $12 bottle of wine, you will drive it to my
I
house
will.
in Uptown.
Yes.
And that's crazy.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. So we do free delivery. We can custom order anything you want and deliver it to your door. So I want to expand that because, you know, there's other people doing delivery, but there's a minimum and there's a delivery charge. And, you know, I just think that, you know, there's more to, you know, the service of wine than, you know, making people pay a delivery charge and doing a minimum and all that. So, you know, my hope is that I can expand in that way. I have Joel scouting out places all the time for me.
You got a lot of space for already.
Yes.
I mean, 4,000 square feet is a lot for
It
where
is.
you are. That's a lot bigger than most wine
Wait,
stores.
It is.
Scouting out space.
For a second site?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Yes.
it wouldn't be moving to
No.
expand, it would be to start a second one.
Yes.
All right.
I am locked in.
This needs to
at
be
the
Magazine
American
Street,
Can.
somewhere I can walk home from.
Yeah, right.
I like this.
And you know, I want to, you know, kind of take the things that are successful in my first location, obviously, and grow that into the second location, and you know, maybe expand out of state as well. We'll see what the future holds, but in the meantime, I'm going to focus on New Orleans, and I'm going to focus on keeping it here because, you know, it's been my dream, it's been my vision for so many years now, and for it to finally come through, you know, I'm pinching myself every day because it really doesn't feel like work. I really, really love what I do.
So 4 years ago, you finished wine school,
Yes.
and you're doing this already.
Yes.
You've been doing this for a little bit now. That's amazing.
Yes.
You got to be very excited about that.
I
You couldn't
am.
want it to go any faster than it has.
No, you know, I was chomping at the bit a good while there in the beginning, but I'm so grateful that I was patient, because I absolutely love the space. I moved into the American Can, live upstairs.
You live above it too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
It's also
Moved-
got to be a challenge though too, probably, right? Because every time something goes wrong, they know where to find you. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes it's hard to, you know, get me out of there.
Right.
Because I'm trying to work too much. But
Right.
but I absolutely
now, were you living there
love the space.
before you moved in? Oh,
No.
okay. So you moved
No.
in after.
I moved in about a month.
Now, is it all
and a half
rental or is that all
rental?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all apartments right now.
We don't have much time. I wanted
Yeah.
to ask you
Please.
a question.
Please.
The name of your business. What inspired that? We
I
did
was
not
wondering the
talk.
same thing.
Yes. So my name is Leora Pearl. That's my middle name. I'm named after my great grandmother, and she was an incredible woman who grew up in small town Ohio and worked her way up to the big city of New York and had a hat shop in Manhattan called Pearl's Hat Shop.
And what time period was this? Your great grandmother, that had to be
1920s and 30s.
Wow.
Cool.
So she had clients like Hedda Hopper and who's the other one? I can't think of right now. I can't think of the other name. But anyway, celebrity clients, people from the White House. I have letters from the White House, you know, thanking her for, you know, her help and, you know, her service and customer service within the hat shop. And so she was a very beautiful and wonderful woman. And to own to own a business in that time period was an incredible thing.
And to be a woman.
Yes,
female business owner at that
exactly.
time.
Exactly.
Amazing.
I mean, you know, she had just obtained the right to vote, you know, and much less own property, you know, or own a business. So it's a tribute to her. It's a tribute to her. And I have a picture of her in her retirement on the Queen Mary in the store.
Oh,
So,
cool. I was going to ask if you had
yeah.
anything on display in the store. That's cool.
Yeah. So, you know, you'll see that my style is kind of a, you know, throwback to vintage. And she's my inspiration, no doubt. And I
neat.
wear her pearls every
I was saying
day.
you have pearl. Yeah, I
Yeah.
see pearl earrings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
Beautiful.
Well, it sounds like we're out of time, unfortunately. This has been wonderful. Thanks for coming. We
Thank
are
you.
at the conclusion of our evening, but we appreciate you coming. This was wonderful. Thanks for being here. Our special guest tonight on Midnight Menu Plus One was Leora Madden of Pearl Wine. And you can find out more about Pearl Wine at pearlwineco.com. 504-483-6314 is the phone number. It's at 3700 Orleans Avenue. You can find out more about that on our website. You also find out more from Joel Duran about Sunbelt. And I can't read that because the font's too small. Read that for me, buddy. On my glasses.
Our web address is www.sunbeltnola.com. And you can find out about our consulting services at businessperformancereview.com.
Okay, and we'll post that on our website as well. Our show is recorded live at Ted's Frost Top on Claiborne Avenue in Calhoun in Uptown New Orleans. Ted is open 7 days a week, serving first-class burgers, beer, and their awesome homemade root beer in a frosty mug. Midnight Menu Plus One is produced by Grant Morris. Chris Keogh is our technical director. The fabulous audio quality of this show is brought to you in part by PreSonus Audio Electronics, makers of all kinds of wonderful products. You can visit presonus.com for more information. You can get in touch with us here at Midnight Menu Plus One by going to our website. That's at itsneworleans.com. That's itsneworleans.com. From there, you can follow us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. You can sign up for our mailing list, get T-shirts, pens, pocket protectors, all kinds of swag. Not really, but while you're at itsneworleans.com, you can listen to our other episodes of Midnight Menu Plus One, as well as other shows, Happy Hour, Mindset, True to the Game, Viet Nola, Out to Lunch. If you're listening to the show on iTunes, thank you for subscribing, and maybe you could take a minute to rate us and review us. That helps other people find us. Midnight Menu Plus One is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. So we made here again at Ted's Frost Top. I'm Ray Canada.
And I'm Margot Moss.
Good night.
You know Labor Day signals the unofficial end of summer, but not the end of your outdoor projects. Lowe's helps you do it right and helps you save with Labor Day deals throughout the store. Shop now and get 2 bags of Stay Green potting mix for $12. And keep your lawn looking neat and trim with a Craftsman 2-cycle 17-inch gas string trimmer, now $20 off at just $119. Whatever's still on your to-do list this Labor Day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 8/28. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii, U.S. only.